You are welcome to another edition of Unionism and AYOGEN TV. Unionism is where we discuss issues ravaging all our institutions and where we provide its solutions to all problems stated in aforementioned topic discussed. Today again, we shall be making a discussion on liberty. And liberty is something all has to do with freedoms. And here with me in studio today is a comrade and also a political analyst, Comrade Alabi Abdullah. Comrade Alabi Abdullah, you are welcome on board.
Thank you, my host. I am Alabi Abdullah. Thank you, sir.
We shall be discussing about liberty. A lot of things has actually happened which came into the mirage of this liberty. What do you understand by the word liberty in unionism?
Now, when we are talking about liberty, what liberty means is total freedom without any obstruction from either government or authority. What am I talking about? That is a state of freedom whereby you live the way you like without any restriction from either government or authority.
But we've seen in cases where student union activities has actually been under the auspices of management. At some point, they say SUG, the acronyms of SUG is Student Union Government. But in some institutions, we've seen them using student union, which the government alone has been scrapped. The government is for the management alone, which whatever decisions they make, they still have to meet with the management before they get a final approval. Can we say that this union is totally a freedom union?
Actually, these days, even though those ones that they have the word G at the back, the government, are they functioning? Are they performing what they are supposed to be?
Are they performing the function of the government?
Now, the issue, what I can just say about this is because of the kind of situation that we find ourselves now. These days, we only have little matured students as far as school is concerned. Or people that are in school now, the students that are in school now, most of them, they are pupils. And there is a big difference between pupils and students. And now, in the same whereby, when you refer to yourself as a comrade, I believe you are someone that can stand on your feet.
Definitely.
And now, when you wanted to aspire for a particular post, and you are running to the management that, okay, sir, please, I want to go for this position. Please, how will you support me? Please, I want you to support me. And when they make you the SUG president or SUG whatever, there is nothing they want to say. You usually dance to their tone. That is just the issue that we're just having this day. If only the student union government can stay and can stand on their feet, and when the entire is when you do something that pleases the entire student, that is when the student will also join you in your struggle.
Is there any difference between liberty and freedom? Because from the word liberty, we believe liberty is freedom. Is there a total freedom when it comes to a student union at all? Total freedom when the union is allowed to do whatever they want? Because over the years, we've seen in cases where student union lead a lot of struggles, but these days, I could recollect when they said there's going to be an hike in price of PMS. We've never had anything from the student union angle. And over the years, we've known student unions to be one of the tools that channel struggles, that brings in a peaceful demonstration into the country. During the struggle of MKO Labiola, we see the impact of students in these struggles. As students totally abolish what they call liberty.
Actually, where we're supposed to start from is this. Those people, the students that we're talking about, that they are in school now, what is their age?
The age factors.
The age factors. You need to consider those things. When you are matured, you know the difference between
the level of thinking right. Would actually be different.
That is just it. The level of thinking will usually be different. In a situation whereby someone you are expecting to lead a struggle, are you expecting a student of 80 years to lead a struggle?
Who doesn't understand the
Who doesn't
concept of
understand the
struggle?
concept of struggle, the word struggle self? He or she didn't understand that. But just because of the privilege, and we, the parents of nowadays, I want my children to go to school very fast. I want them to be graduate at the age of 15, 18, 20 years.
And that's all.
And that is why we find ourselves here. And that's why you would see when management increase, we just see student union government, we just keep calm and be looking at the management.
Now, in a situation where the management is making an authority to the union, and the union, which is meant to elevate the sovereign of this of Nigerian students, are not up to task, should we say there is no liberty for the union? Or is there any way an individual can get his liberty when there is still a student union government? You know, student union are the mouthpiece of the entire student when it comes to a dialogue between the student and the management. It is only the student union that can negotiate with the management. An ordinary individual cannot just go in and say, okay, I want to meet a VC, I want to meet a rector, I want to meet a provost, and the likes. How is the correlation going to be if the student union are subject to a kind of let me say a military order? You know, we have some kind of VC, some kind of rectors, some kind of provosts that make sure that things are hard for student union. A lot of scenarios that happen, we've seen a student union president being suspended from school. We've seen a scenario whereby a union was entirely proscribed.
That is why, you know, formally, when you are a student union personnel, you are an activist. And what makes you an activist is this. An activist, you never see an activist collecting any bribe in any form.
In monetary terms.
Not even in monetary time. In terms of job opportunity.
Job, an appointment after school.
But now, the people they refer to themselves as the union executive or the union officer anyway, their aim and objective is that, okay, after I have served as the student union president or the student union of this, at the end of the day, I want the school management to retain me.
I want to get this GC offer.
That is it. But just because of that, they would like to jeopardize the future of so many students. For instance, when there is an hike in school fees and the student union government cannot stand on their feet that, okay, no, we don't want this. This is the amount that we want. You know, during that process, we see a lot of students will become dropouts. As a result of lack of, I can call it lack of knowledge on the part of the student union government. Because there is one thing about this life. What will be will surely be in life. Definitely. Whether you take shortcuts or you take the right path. Or you take the right path. I know of a particular person, when the person was the SUG president of the school. The school is College of Education. The person and the management then, they are just like, let me say, water and fire. And later, they wanted to bribe him. I think then, according to the person, they wanted to bribe him with, 250,000 and then, which is a very huge amount of money then. But unfortunately, he said no. He can never take this. That this is what he wants for his people. But at the end of the day, after his regime, about 2 to 3 years, they now need someone. In that same school, they now need someone who will be working at the bursary. I think, let's say, the accountant of the school. Do you know what happened? At the end of the day, because of the guy was given the bribe of 250,000 naira and he refused to collect the bribe. And the guy, he was given the opportunity to serve as the school
They
accountant.
knew that under him everything
Will be
still, there won't be
safe.
corruption.
They won't do any form of corruption. But assuming if the person have collected that 250,000, by that time they might not consider the person.
Okay, is there any liberty for individual students when it comes to student struggles? Because we know that it's responsibility of union to lead a struggle, but at times when the union have been bought by, let me say, by management, or probably some people who are influentials, they hijack struggle, they bought struggle. Okay, let's come to terms. I give you this certain amount of money, then you suspend your protest. Is there any a liberty for an individual who wishes that, okay, enough is enough, we don't want this again, I want to channel these struggles, let me take the lead? Is there liberty for the individual?
I can't say yes why I can't say no.
Okay, I'm with you.
Explanation. Now, this why I cannot say yes is this. In any environment, when you want to discuss with management or you want to have anything, the first they will ask you, I need your SUG president. I need your president. And now, the only thing I know the student can just do is to mount the prayer on the student union president. Today, that when the student union president knew that, okay, if these people they meet me in office, when the student union government the president cannot sleep in his house, cannot sleep in school, then he will know that yes, this is what he's supposed to do. But for an individual, what will just happen is this: at the end of the day, they might terminate such a person's admission, because they will just refer to the person as hoodlum, that okay,
He's disturbing
the peace of the school. But if it's the SUG president, if the SUG president lead, why all other students will not follow? Since the SUG president is there, another person can lead the protest if the SUG president is there. But when they want to sit on the round table, such a person and the student union president will be. But once the student union president is not there, it is not visible. Let me just cite an example. In the year 2017, I want to use Adeyemi as a case study. Do you believe that during the executive meeting, let's say the student union meeting, they were discussing on how to go about the issue of grant, because then there is an hike in school fees. Then, but at the end of the day, it's only the CJ and the welfare of the government that stood guaranteed that no, we are not going to
allow this to happen.
Believing sincerely, at the end of the day, the two of them were suspended.
Is it by the management or by the what's it called, the parliamentary arms?
By the management. The two of them were suspended.
That's the reason why I said, is there liberty for an individual? If a management can suspend an individual based on the fact that it felt like, okay, you are depriving our student the rights, whereby the student union president is sitting and is watching those anomalies to happen, it shows clearly that individuals doesn't have a certain liberty.
I can say you are right partially, and I can say you are not right. Okay. You know what actually leads to that is because of the corruption in our judicial sector. Because as an individual, if something of such nature is happening to you, you have the right to challenge the school authority by suing the school authority to the court.
I could recollect in the year 2017 or 18 about, there's this particular school in Oyo State. The student union president of that certain school actually sued the management to court. He was suspended from the school. He was expelled. He took the issues to court. He won the case in the first instance, but later the management appealed, but I wasn't unable to follow the trend there. Okay, I'm with you.
So that is what I'm saying. We individual as a student, you have the right to challenge the school authority since you're on your right. But actually, the issue that we're just having is this: when you are in the court, those people that let me say The judge, who is he? Is he not the friend? Is he not a friend to your provost?
Also
Is
your
he not a
VC
friend to your VC
or rector.
or rector? Now, and that is why it is very, very difficult these days for an individual to challenge the school authority, except the SUG president.
Over time, SUG president has also not been functioning well. Majority of them have been bought with money.
It is as a result of how they gain power. Let me put it that way. It's a result of how they gain power.
They sober before they get power.
That is just it. I can say it. I'm saying it vividly on air now. In my school, if they know you as an activist, you can never hold any position as far as the student union is concerned.
Why?
Because starting from onset,
they knew you would be creating problem for them.
Yes, and they will never allow you to. They will never. You can never.
Oh, that's so absurd.
That is it. Let's say some months ago, I was discussing with a friend of mine about the issue of online voting of a thing. I told them, if students are going to stand on their feet, the student union government, if they are going to stand on their feet, the issue of online voting should be proscribed.
Wow, it's a very interesting. My guests we've been discussing about liberty. Liberty has to do with freedoms, and it's the ability to do what one pleases. And a lot of things have been happening when it comes to student union struggles. We've witnessed the cases where the union leaders have been bought with money and appointment and the likes, where it was the students, let me put it, masses that suffer the case. If you are just joining us, this is Unionism on AYOGEN TV. We are located at Akinjagunla. You can as well follow us on our Facebook, on our YouTube. Just subscribe, hit that small bell to get always notified on any of our program. I will be going on a short break and we'll get back to you shortly. Stay tuned. It is Unionism. Yeah, welcome back to Unionism on AYOGEN TV. Here with me in studio is Comrade Alabi Abdullah. He's a student of Adeyemi Federal University. He's a comrade and as well a political analyst. You saw that in some of our programs. Briefly, he has actually been joining us to discuss some political issues, and today he's here with us to discuss about unionism. Let's just take a shift focus from liberty. Let's discuss worldwide about student union. NANS as a case studies. What has been NANS doing in some aspects? We've witnessed a lot of schools which their union has been proscribed. Okay, let me ask this way. What are the main reasons why management feels like, okay, we need to proscribe student union in our school? Your own observation as a
my own observation as a unionist is that the management have seen it that okay, now the only group that can be giving us problem
that is eating us
back to back is the student union government. And when there's no student union government again, definitely students have been put under the management. And that is why you see them day in, day out. When it will not even be mistake. Most of the time it's not even mistake. It just be maybe they just have one or two issues. For instance, now look at what is happening these days now. They were saying all the schools now they have been releasing circular on several occasions that no student vehicle must come in. Why they not like power bike
and the likes
in school? But why?
Even the major thing that makes students happy after maybe 5 or 4 years of
Yes,
education, which is the
like the
final
issue
year
of
of
final
exam.
year
A lot of
FYP.
schools have cancelled FYP.
Yes, a lot of schools have cancelled it, but why? And we have student union governments, and we have NANS. I'm saying I'm not sure whether we still have anything like NANS as far as Nigeria
Again,
is concerned.
when it comes to student struggle.
The only thing we just have in Nigeria is political party.
Wow, that's
Because when you see someone that ought to become the NANS president, that is the number one citizen
of
as
the
far
whole
as
student. He has to be a
number,
student.
he has to be a student. You just see them civil servant.
Over times, a lot of things have happened like
You,
that.
you even see that it's even a political party or a particular governor or a particular president
Actually
that will even
sponsoring
such an individual to become the NAS president. How will such a person fight back those people that they put him in power?
When he was actually a civil servant, he was working for government.
That
Definitely,
is it.
he was brought to power. It's just for him or her to work for the president.
That is just it. For instance, now we have a lot of schools that they are paying exorbitantly. We have a lot of schools that there's no infrastructure, no lecture theatre,
A state university was actually paying millions of naira.
and the nuns are just sitting down
Watching.
Even though an issue just occurred, I think some couple of days, if it's not yesterday, that would be a day before yesterday.
Wow.
Whereby a particular school paying 2 million, a million, 2.1 point, and the likes, and they were given the nuns, they were given nuns executive, they were giving them award of what?
Award of excellence.
Award of what? As in a school that you and such school, I think by now the school supposed to be closed down if it's the way nuns used to be. And that is why each time I think about those people that they've passed away, the real unionists that they've passed away, the likes of Africa and people like that, you see their own lifestyle is quite different from the lifestyle of the unionists of nowadays.
And just to amplify it, a lot of youth arms have been created. You see, we have youth parliament. You see, we have NANS. You see, we have Nigerian youth parliament, African youth parliament. But we've not seen them making a very dialogue, a very demands to the government that actually will elevate the sovereignty of Nigerian students.
You know what happened is this: all those things, all those parastatals, they were just set up. I can say they were being used by the government.
So it is for the people and for the government.
That is it. It's just for the government, because they knew that okay, these are the people that can be giving us problem. Now you guys come, let's sit down. Monthly, you are going to be collecting 100,000 naira. You are going to be collecting 200,000 naira. You just stay here. You stay here. And now, when they see that something is wrong, it will be very, very hard for them to challenge
Such person.
Such person.
So, Comrade Alabi Abdullah, what do you think should be the solutions? Because student as a whole, let me say they are not happy because, I as a journalist, we've done a lot of underground work. We've seen reactions from students. They are not happy with the leadership systems, ranging from NANS, dance to, what's it called? Is it Zone D, JCC, and the likes? At times, we have factions in these in these associations. But students felt that it is a student that ought to lead these organizations. How can they put an end to the fact that someone who has lived the four walls of schools is still coming back to lead the struggle?
My host, do you know what happened? The last NANS national election. You know what happened? On convention day, you see DSS with guns, and you see them shooting.
Probably they want to protect people who want to hijack the elections.
Now, who want to hijack the election?
We might have hoodlums. Even the country is not safe when it comes to general election. You see us having a lot of security apparatus mounting everywhere.
That is when you know that all these things are being set up by the politicians. The NANS that I knew before and that I've heard about before, they were not after money. What they were after is that genuine struggle, that they want the betterment, they want the best for their people. But now, you see NANS, all what NANS is after now is money. You see, they go to one governor, collect 30 million, go to one presidential candidate, collect 50 million, go to this, collect this, go to that, collect that. That is why you can never see them fighting for the interests of Nigeria. Okay, look at the current NANS national president. As far as this regime is concerned, what has been his achievement? When they were talking about subsidy, when we are talking about subsidy in Nigeria, the only organization that stood against the federal government was Labour Congress, and they threatened the federal government with strike.
That if you go on with this, the whole nation will be shut down.
What is now the essence of NANS? And these are the struggles that are supposed to be embarked on by NANS. But since everybody are after money now, everybody is after money. That okay, me too, I need money from the government, and that is why you see we are in this mess today.
Well, my guests have said it all. We are in this mess for the fact that a lot of people who actually need to sit back at home and be making corrections to none of our anomalies are the one that are taking over the mantle of leadership, and they are not actually doing it well. But the time will tell. Subsequent time, I'm sure I will bring leadership of NANS to these tables and we'll discuss a lot more. We'll still go on a short break because I still have one of the comrades to bring in. And because we're still discussing about students at unionism, liberty, and students at union struggle. Stay back as we go on this short break. Welcome back to the program Unionism on AYOGEN TV. Like I said, I still have one guest that we need to discuss about this, and his name is Comrade, Senator Comrade Akinfemi Watoye. He's also a student of the Federal University of Education. He's a senator, in Adeyemi College of Student Union, House of Senate, and he's also a political analyst, a security expert. And majority of our viewers at home, I would have been familiar with this man because he's always been coming around. Mr. Akifemwa, you are welcome on board to Unionism Today.
Thank you very much, sir.
We've actually been discussing about unionism, liberty as a whole, and Comrade Alabi, Senator Alabi Abdullahi, or Comrade Alabi Abdullahi, either way, we've been discussing about liberty so far, so good. And, from there we move to student union as a whole, NANS as a whole, as a body. But let me ask this question before we go back into the NANS issue. When we are talking about liberty as a whole actually means freedom, a total freedom. Now, is there any freedom in our student union as a whole, in all institutions? We are not talking about your own institution for now.
Yes.
We are talking from university range, we are talking about polytechnic range, we are talking about college of education range. Is there any liberty when it comes to student union struggles?
So student unionism, yes, there is freedom. Students have been given freedom right from time. The management are just there to guide and give advice. They can't make decisions for them. Since no one is ready to make decisions for you, there is still freedom for you. And you can stand against some of the management's decision, though, apart from government policies, students can still stand against some of the decisions of the management, apart from the policies made by the government.
But over the years, we've witnessed a case where students actually stand on the way of management based on the fact that, if they want to, there's an hike in price, there's these struggles that the students are agitating for. But later the years, they override them with veto power and the union is proscribed. Can we still say there is liberty when it comes to student union struggle?
Yes. For example, the one that happened at AYOGEN recently, if not because they led a violent protest, when a digital world, in this 21st century, 21st century, I used to tell people that our unionism shouldn't be the thing we've been doing before. We should give room for consultation before consolidation, before confrontation.
Okay, now there's still freedom. Senator Akifemwa still believe there's freedom when it comes to student unionism. We've been discussing about NANS as a whole. Over times, our students are complaining that NANS is being run by external bodies. Let me put that way, external body, because we believe this is student associations. People who are still in school need to lead these struggles. But there has been a lot of arguments over times that people who are in school cannot have the time to lead this struggle of a thing. Hence, they give room for people who are no more in school to lead the struggle. Is that the reason why NANS is lacking behind when it comes to student struggle? Because they've not been functioning well. The NANS we know over years is quite different from the NANS we have this time around.
It's happening because some of those we call our student leaders are just conversions. All they're after is their own purse. For how can someone who has graduated a year ago, contesting for a post, is not ready for his master's degree, has not even put in for his master's degree, as at that moment he's not a student, but you see them putting him to become this, to become that at the NANS level, state level, zonal level, or national level, and they will be contesting, they will be struggling, and all they want is attention. When they get there, they want to go to one politician or the other to curry for favor so that they can become one or the other. They are only fighting for their post. But I believe that if we that are still in school can come together, bring our voices out, and support those who are students like us, we can still achieve something.
Okay, is there any problem solutions to these people who is no more a student coming on board? Is there any solutions to make sure that it is genuinely students that take over the mantle of? Let me start from T-Code. Is there any possible solutions that NANS has been taken over by real genuine students?
Yes.
In what way?
There is. And the way is this. If the SUG presidents of every school in Nigeria, if they can stand on their feet, they are no. We don't want the external people to rule us again.
at our what's it called, at JCC level, you could observe majority it is senators that vote, and the senator as the president of each institutions, and it is people who are still in school that we hear the affairs of JCCC. So why is it now it is quite different at the top? which is the national body.
Even though the JCC that you are talking about is not those people that they are still current students that they are running JCC.
So it has actually been manipulated away.
Yes, you see them. Okay, for instance, now as a final year student, on normal standard, we are in second semester. Let's say you are in second semester, you don't have any right to contest for any post anymore.
Because
Whether
you like it or not,
you are graduating that year. That you see people, someone that have signed out, that have written his or her final paper, and you see them contesting for
some that have even submitted present their
project.
Yes, that is why I said it's only if the student union president, which are the senators that do vote, if they can stand on their feet. But I'm not sure if they'll be able to do that.
It is
because
why?
we are in school, we are still in school now. My dear brother, this is my powerful senator. Can you award 20 million for NAS election?
Wow. So everything has actually been turned into monetary terms.
That is it. All the SUG president, they will be expecting money before the vote. So I would not give you them money, they will not vote for you. And they will, even when you even give them money, they vote for the highest bidder.
And that's why we are calling them out. We are still saying that vote buying has started from the student union election.
We just need sensitization for these people that okay, everything in Nigeria is not all about money. Why can't we just do things for our future?
For future, because whatever you do today, history will definitely speak about it. Okay, Senator Akifemo, so okay. Do you have any probably solutions to this that the senators should take caution of?
Yes. Let me start from here. At the students at the school level, if they want to contest, we have the electoral committee. They will go out to each department, to the management information center or the ICT lab to make inquiry of their cumulative grade points assess. That's
make a lot of information.
So also the electoral bodies of the NANS at JCC level, zonal level, or national level can also
make inquiries.
You tell your student of social school, okay, let's go to that school, let's go and confirm.
Let's see your portal if you are still a student.
If you are still a student, even not portal, they can come to the school, go to the management information system of some school call their own ICT, Information and Communication Technology Lab, or to the administrative building to make inquiries. Are they still students? Have they graduated? What level are they? What semester are they in their school? So this can help us to stop all this mess. Because if we didn't stop it, those who are graduates already, they will make policies, they will support policies that will affect the students who are
current students. That's the reason why this question is actually being brought on board. Like I said earlier to all viewers at home, that there will be someday I will definitely bring the leadership of NANS to this table. We will discuss. We will have a tete-a-tete discussions on the issues, contemporary issues about NANS. Our time is fast spent because another program will be coming on board. We are sorry for the delay because we have a lot of technical issues on ground. But next week, I will still bring in some comrades in towns who will discuss issues affecting our students at Unionism. Senator Akifemo, a words to our viewers at home and students at large.
Of the greatest Nigerian students, I will implore our students not to sleep nor slumber, not to sit or fold their arms. I want all students to come out. Let's not be political apathy. The political apathy of it is what is giving us problem, because some students are not even ready to participate in students' unionism. And our non-participation will allow the mediocres to keep ruling us. And when the mediocres are ruling us, we that call ourselves comrades, able students, will not have anything to say, because those who are representing us are the bad eggs.
They don't have administrative acumen. Okay, comrade Alabi Abdullahi, the little words to our viewers and students at large.
My own advice is there is something we refer to as solidarity. If we can stand by the word solidarity, I believe we are good to go.
If we can stand by solidarity, we are good to go. And we should shun a political apathy like our Senator Toye have said. my guest. I really appreciate you for coming, and I hope when next I call upon you, you will definitely hit to my call.
Sure, by God's grace.
Today we've come to the end of the episode of Unionism. Today we've discussed about liberty. We moved to issues about NANS, and we discussed little about how NANS have been run by external affairs who are not genuine students anymore. You can as well be followers on our IG, our Instagram, our Facebook, YouTube. Just hit that small bell just to get notified every time we are on for Unionism. Until next time that I will still come your way, I had a lot of people who make these programs to be superb to this episode of today. John Joshua is our able editor for these programs today. Our director, who is my able director for this episode, is Bleeding Pen, with his Charles Olowe. All thanks to CK and the likes, Franklin. Those are the people behind the cameras. And to our director, Mr. Falegan, thanks for all the time. We really appreciate you. Until next time that I will still come your way, I'm Adeus Oladeji Abiu. Always stay tuned when it's Friday for students at Unionism.